Okay, part 2. All right, have your iron set to hot cotton. Use a spray bottle or a steam iron, whichever you prefer. Then you're going to make sure that your edges are out as well as they can be. I'm going to give a quick press there. You're going to do this to each edge. So you want to make sure that it's out as well as it can be. You don't want to have a lot of extra. Now you're going to do your top, and you've got a piece of plastic in there. The iron is going to melt the plastic a little bit, so I try to not press too vigorously here. I give it a quick press like this, but a lot of times that will melt. So I pick this up and I make sure that that's detached from there, and you'll know right away. Sometimes it'll even leave a little black mark. Don't worry too much about it. Okay, then you're going to do your bottom, and then you're just going to make sure that your top and your bottom there kind of match up sort of nice. Like I said, this is not graded stellar sewing. It's just make sure it stays. Now I'll give you one of these mask guides. What I do is I line it up. I used to mark them. I don't bother marking them anymore. I grab some pins. I mark my... And what I do too is sometimes the mask doesn't reach all the way to either end. So I just sort of center it. It's fine. This is not precise sewing. It's fine. So mark your bold lines. The 1.5, the 3-inch, and the 4.5. And then you can either eyeball it and fold across. Or what I do is I mark this one. So I know that the mask is pretty even. And then I match it up on there. And I do the same thing on this side. I just mark those 3. I don't bother marking the other lines. I eyeball it. You can mark them all if you want to. It's up to you. So then you're going to get your elastic kind of out of the way. You're going to fold on your pin lines, and as soon as you get that fold, go ahead and take those pins out. You won't need them. So just get them out of the way. Hopefully you can see this. So you kind of hold that flat, spray it, or use your steam iron. I don't use a steam iron because I use my iron so much when I quilt that it ends up rusting. So to preserve my iron, I just use it dry, and I use a spray bottle. So you're going to do that with all 3 of your pin lines. Take those out. And one more. And then what you're going to do, and I tend to do it right on my ironing board, you're going to fold those like that, and it will be easiest, I will just tell you right now, if you nest those folds within each other. And what I mean by that is I don't have these parts overlapping, because if you do, if you have it real overlappy like that, that's going to be really hard to sew through. So I try to do it so that they're kind of nested in there. And then what I do then is I put it down on my ironing board. And I try to pull it up so it's kind of even. And a little more particular you are now, the easier it will be to sew, that's all. So that's, make that edge kind of even there. And then what I do is I put a pin in through there, kind of pin it down in there, and then I pick it up and pin through all the layers. I don't go through too close to the edge, because then I don't have to worry about taking my pins out. I'm going to be sewing like right there, so my pins won't be in the way. Then you're going to do the same thing on the other side, matching up. Now, one thing when you are making your pleats, make sure that your nose piece is here on the top and your pleats go down, because you don't want the mask catching anything. You don't want it to open this way. You want it to be like a little waterfall. That's what they call it, waterfall effect. So then you're going to match up all your pleats. See, and mine aren't all even. Don't worry about it. It's just to make it so that the sides are smaller and the bulk of the mask is big enough to fit over your face. So don't worry too much if your pleats aren't all even. Nobody's going to care. Just going to be glad to have a mask. Okay, so then I usually give it a quick little thing. If you don't have glass head pins, don't iron over your pins because they'll melt the plastic. Okay, and now on to part 3, and then we'll be done.